Alrighty, let us get started. Now we will hear from OpenPath. Justin, let me promote you to spotlight. All right, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, let me bring this up. There we go. All right. Good morning or afternoon, everybody. My name is Justin Kennedy, one of the co-founders and CEO here at OpenPath. I'm delighted to be able to speak to you guys. And I think we're one of the newer kids on the block, so to speak, having done our CRIO integration in the last probably 60 days or so. But I'm excited to share you what we're working on and kind of what the future holds for what we're trying to bring to the clinical trial site environment. Going to go over a few things, talk about what we refer to as our pre-screening model 2.0, and then some of the strategies that we're currently using to use our agentic AI product to help clinical trial increase the efficiency of their operations. So we started OpenPath with myself and one of my founders, and we come from kind of the big tech and AI machine learning background with previous companies with some industry veterans that run clinical trial sites themselves. And one of the things that was constantly brought up as being a problem in this industry is essentially patient engagement, specifically with patient recruiting. There was a lot of concern that was brought up to us about the largely analog and manual process of contacting new leads, potentially those falling out and becoming lost. And then how do we keep patients engaged through the trial recruitment process and making sure that they completely or successfully complete a trial. What we are focused on is what we're calling the pre-screening model 2.0. And we're looking at that through kind of three separate lenses. One is the ability to utilize agentic AI to engage with patients at speed and scale, using agentic AI to automate and optimize some of the pre-screening workflows to bring time back to the people that do the work and let them focus on what they do best. And then appointment reminders and check-ins. Our focus at OpenPath with this platform is by building digital labor that focuses on taking the things away from the people involved. That is the low skill, high time work, allowing the individuals at these clinical trial sites essentially to focus on what they do best. So for example, maybe a site gets, 100 leads and they only get to 30 of them in a day. What we would suggest or what we're focused on doing is providing an AI solution that can reach out to those 100 leads, qualify them to some basic level, and allow the people to focus on what they do best, which is get them in the door through the pre-screening and qualification process. Another example would be appointment reminders. A lot of the sites we talk to, a vast majority of the day is taken up by coordinators and recruiters calling people, trying to remind them that they're supposed to walk in the door, making sure they have transportation, answering questions. Those are things that are also being able to be handled by our agentic AI solutions and returning that time back to the individuals to focus on the stuff that they do best. So how is this all working? So we focus on building two separate products within the platform. The one product is kind of the upfront thing that is the selling point or the thing that catches people's attention. That's our agentic AI solutions. So we build specific micro agents that are focused on specific task-based outcomes. So we are not at OpenPath, we do not believe that AI is ready to take over wholesale entire portions of people's operations, especially when it comes to engaging with the most valuable resource that clinical trial sites have, which is their subjects and their patients. So we're focused on building specific micro agents for specific tasks that can help out where the clinical trial sites see the most efficiency gained by it. So for example, we have an agent that is specifically dedicated only to recruiting. That's all it does. There is nothing else. It's entirely trained on making sure that it is able to reach out to new leads, qualify them in the way that the study and the clinical trial site would like us to do, and then get that patient in the door. The other side On the other side of that agentic AI solution that we're building is actually what I think is the more interesting part and the thing that actually may have more value for clinical trial sites, which is the connective tissue between the disparate platforms that clinical trial sites use. So one thing that we are aware of that clinical trial sites struggle with is the need to work in multiple platforms in order to get basic execution and basic operations done. For example, let's say like a feasibility study. If you have a feasibility study, you have to log into maybe 3, 4, 5 different platforms in order to run a separate query in each one. You have to bring it all back into maybe to a spreadsheet, deduplicate that subject list. It's a mess and it takes up way more time than it should. So we have, for example, an AI agent that is specifically designed to monitor and connect to the disparate platforms that individuals might work with, whether it's different EMR systems or other platforms that provide access to subject records for searching. The focus that we have is bringing all of that information back into the OpenPath platform so that instead of having to do a query in a half dozen different platforms, you do it directly through OpenPath and we make the query into these other platforms and bring them back into a central location for you guys to work with. So along with both the agentic AI solutions and then built on top of this connective tissue API framework that's bringing together all the different platforms that you work with, we think about the execution in kind of these three large buckets and how we can provide value. One, speed and scale. That's simply the ability to get leads able to be actioned on in a faster time period. So, for example, one of our client sites had a 72 to 96-hour turnaround time from the time period that they filled out a Facebook lead to when a recruiter could reach out to them. We took that 72 to 96-hour timeline down to 1 minute, and they're able to their recruiting efforts has seen a marked improvement in response rate by allowing their recruiters to reach out to their potential subjects faster. On the scheduling and logistics side, we're able to we have an agent that's dedicated just for patient engagement. And people usually think about that from like appointment reminders or medication reminders, but it's also generalized patient engagement during a study. For example, we have an obesity trial that's going right now, and we are providing a patient engagement strategy for the site specifically for the placebo subjects in order to keep them engaged throughout the entirety of the study and make sure they complete it. I think one of the secret sauces that we have and what we built is the modularity and flexibility in the AI solutions that we have, because we understand at OpenPath that not only does clinical trial sites each have their own challenges with their local population and in terms of subjects and how to engage with them in an effective manner, we understand that each trial is should not be treated the same way as another. An MDD study is not the same as an obesity trial. A healthy type 1 vaccine study is not the same as an Alzheimer's. And we give the ability for these agents to be trained uniquely and specifically and tuned directly on a trial by trial basis, on a site by site basis. And then the last bucket that we're looking at is this insights and reporting bucket. And this is one that, again, is not necessarily a headline grabber in terms of on a marquee somewhere, but we find that this is lacking in a lot of places at the clinical trial site level, where you ask someone, well, how much did it cost for you to bring a lead for this study? How much? What was the cost per action? What was the CAC? And it's difficult, if not impossible, for a lot of clinical trial sites to answer that question. With our ability to bring the data all into one place, including multiple recruitment channels, including multiple platforms, being able to aggregate that data in one place allows us to provide that reporting and insight for the operations team to monitor the effectiveness of the campaigns, along with other insights and reporting that lives inside the platform as well. We also integrate directly into multiple CTMSs, specifically into CRIO. That's probably our richest API integration so far. But we do support others as well. What are some so far? So one thing, like I said, we're kind of we're definitely in the early launch phase of the platform. And so we're focused on very specific problem sets that we're trying to solve. One of the ones that is the easiest for us to provide value is by providing an agent that can provide coverage for your recruiting team when there are gaps in your normal business hours. So, for example, on weekends, nights, holidays, making sure you have that speed to lead in place by utilizing OpenPath's recruiting agent enables those subjects and patients to be reached out to in an efficient manner and get them scheduled with an appointment while the study and the outreach is still top of mind for them. This is an example of some of the pipeline and insights I was talking about. We're able to bring these things all into one place so you can see exactly, what is my cost per lead? How much did it cost me to schedule my visits? What about screenings? What about leads? This is the level of detail that we're focused on providing through the platform and through the integrations that we provide. And this is able to be broken down not only by down to recruiting source, but it's recruiting source down to a study, down to an individual site if needed as well. We have kind of a multi-layer view of our data. There's a top level UI that gives us over, high level views, high level data. And then each one allows you to drill down into each one and see exactly what went on. So there's agent activity, there's agent engagements, there's upcoming appointments, there's an outcomes widget. So, of all the people that reached out to you yesterday, what has been the outcome from the engagement of the agent with that? Who's going to be coming in for an appointment? Just things like that allows for the at a glance what's going on, and then if needed, digging into it and getting more information on it. And then all of this is able to be brought back into CRIO via our API connection with them. So we have the ability to bring entire patient records over into CRIO and update accordingly. This helps with preventing errors, speed to lead, deduplication, the ability to automate this and facilitate this through technology is going to be a requirement. It should be a base level thing that everybody is looking to do in the near term. And that's what I got for the presentation today. As I mentioned, we're in the soft launch version of the platform. What we're currently looking for are beta partners, essentially, that are going to help us validate the platform that we built. I'm looking for people that kind of want to lean in and help shape the guidance and the direction this platform goes. And thank you, Nikki, for setting this up and allowing us to present. And I look forward to being able to answer anybody's questions.